Hello, this is Lori Redding with Redding Employment Services in Birmingham, Alabama. Wanted to talk to all of you this morning about it's a new year, so it's time to make sure we know what our goals are going to be for 2017 and how are we going to communicate those goals to our teams. And do we have the right people in place to help us meet those goals? If not, how do we plan to develop our people so that everyone can be successful and that we can meet our goals for 2017? I recommend a 4-step plan, very simple, and something that all of us can do very quickly and help us to get started in 2017 on the right foot. So step 1 would be simply to take stock of all the people that we have on our team and our department, all the people that we manage, and actually conduct a SWOT analysis of each individual that will be working towards your 2017 goals. So you will want to sit down kind of in a quiet area and actually write out strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for each one of your employees. Strengths and weaknesses are pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And by opportunities, what I mean is what opportunities exist for you to be able to help that employee become more successful, to turn those weaknesses into something that's going to be maybe possibly a strength, but definitely something that is going to help them achieve the individual goals that you're going to set for them. And the threats are going to be anything in the environment, anything out there that could cause that person to stumble, could cause that person to not meet those goals, anything that could cause them not to be successful. So step 2, after you've conducted your SWOT analysis of each one of your employees, would be to conduct sit down and communicate the SWOT analysis with each one of your employees. I know sometimes as managers that seems a little daunting and something that we would prefer not to do, but as a leader, it is one of the best things that we can do for our staff is to sit down and communicate with them exactly where you think they are. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And what can you do as their leader and as their manager to help them be successful? You want to be open in this communication. Certainly think these types of communications come better if it's face-to-face. Even if it's something that where you're managing people in different locations, different geographies, where you have to even do it through Skype or some type of face-to-face communication through some type of video streaming. But you want to be honest. You don't have to be brutally honest, but you definitely need to be honest and be encouraging in that conversation as well. No one wants to hear bad news, as individuals, but we want to have someone that is going to be managing us, that sees us as someone that can help our leaders become very effective in their roles. And they want to know what their part of can be in that. And so for them to understand that, they need to know exactly where they are. Sometimes the SWOT analysis that we conduct on our employees may lead us to see quite clearly that we do not have the right person on the team, or we don't have the right person in the right role. Or sometimes we may discover that this person doesn't need to be at our organization at all. And so what are you as leaders and managers doing to remedy that situation? Very important to be able to answer that and be able to move forward with that plan. Step 3 would be to communicate your goals to each one of your people on your team and be able to identify with them very clearly how they fit into your overall goal for 2017. And the plan that you're going to create, or that you have created at this point, to communicate to them how they're going to reach their individual goals, which will then roll up into your full departmental or goals as an executive at your organization. As the manager, it is absolutely our responsibility to follow up with everyone on our team on their performance in meeting these goals. It is something that has to be done on a consistent basis. It's something that has to be done in a manner that is open and honest and also encouraging. But I recommend face-to-face meetings for this type of scenario, or for these types of meetings. If you can't do that, certainly try to do those verbally or through some type of video streaming, or do these in a written format. I don't think any one particular method, you don't want to just choose one method all the time and that be the only way that you communicate with your employees. Or the people on your team, but certainly a combination of the three. We don't want to be the manager the only time that our team hears from us in a constructive criticism type way is through writing. It needs to be a conversation that you have with someone so that you can hopefully help them self-identify some of their weaknesses or maybe some of the things that they're not doing to achieve their goals. But again, this has to be something that we do on a consistent and regular basis, not something that we just do at the beginning of 2017 and don't touch it again until 2018. The final step 4 in our plan in developing our staff is how will you measure their development? We can create a plan, we can have goals, we can tell people what those goals are, but if we don't communicate to them how we as our leader or their leader is going to measure that performance, then it really doesn't do us a whole lot of good to set those goals. We have to have some type of quantitative tool in place to be able to see at the end of the day, where are we in this goal? Is this a goal that we're going to achieve in 3 months, 6 months, or is it going to take all year? And if it's something that's going to take all year, is it something that we're going to break up into smaller pieces so that we can actually achieve the bigger goal? But certainly if you're going to be evaluating your staff on their performance from some type of patient satisfaction method, you're certainly looking at patient satisfaction results, or is it simply being able to have certain types of deadlines met every single day or every single week? Whether that's we're passing medicines at a certain time, making sure that's done and documented accordingly, or we're going to have a certain amount of people in our caseload that we're responsible for taking care of. Just make sure that it is a plan that's achievable, and that it is a goal that is something that we can write down and that we can say, here's how we're going to meet that and here's how I'm going to measure it, and it's something that your employees can see. Show it to them. We all learn better a lot of times when we see things, and so this is not something that we want to be a foggy, unclear communication. We want this to be something that's very clear and very open. And be sure that you document successes and failures of the people on your team. Reward them for anything that they are doing correctly. I mean, we all like to be recognized when we make a positive impact on the organization, whether that's improving patient satisfaction, or whether that's having a certain number of clients that we've treated in a certain amount of time, something that we know that is positive in caring for others, or some type of overall organizational goal that they can help meet by meeting their individual goals. So making sure that we reward them throughout that process is very important, because we know that if we recognize and reward them, hopefully that is going to continue to promote that positive behavior. So these are just the 4 steps in helping us develop our employees over time. Very simply, step 1 was to take stock in each one of the people who work for us. Step 2 is to make sure that we communicate that SWOT analysis to the people who work for us. And step 3 is to communicate how each person fits into the overall goals that you have set, and how they're going to reach that goal and what the plan is going to be. And step 4 is how do we measure that goal. So hoping that you will check back with Reading Employment Services again sometime soon for another update. Happy 2017.